Hello, hey there. It's day 15 of my Sananga journey. Um, Yesterday I felt inspired to go and join a life drawing class, and I exceeded all expectations of what I'd be able to create. I'm really happy with what I've drawn, and it was a real um, really visceral experience of feeling like I was reclaiming the long lost part of my soul. And whilst drawing, I felt like I was hugging that long lost part of my soul that used to draw. And like that part of my soul and me were like crying and sobbing in love with each other. Um, to be reunited, and also at the same time I felt really really excited, like yeah I'm drawing, this is amazing. Because when I finished my fine art degree I felt like I didn't want to pick up a pencil again. It was a really negative experience at a difficult time as well, I think, because I lost my granddad Ted and my nanny needs, and a friend died of bowel cancer and his mum died, and I was undiagnosed with endometriosis, so there's a lot of things going off along with the pressures of the course that probably getting too much detail now, but it was just too modular. It was all about getting a module completed rather than expanding and blooming and developing the skills that I'm happy with. So but I feel like I can be the artist that I want to be whenever I want to be, and I've just got to apply myself and do it. And the Sananga, with its healing properties of enhancing everything that's associated with sight, not just on a practical physical vision. Yeah, I think my short sightedness, which is only little anyway, is actually lessened, and I can see more detail in the distance. And my eyes have got brighter. The colour of my irises are a brighter shade of, well, I don't know, there's a lot of colours in there really, but a lighter shade of hazily greeny with fiery red bits. And once you take the Sananga, or almost immediately after the pain is gone, particularly if you are outdoors, outside, out in nature, the experience of viewing and observing and looking is like a joy. It's like when you eat delicious food, and it's a joy to eat the delicious flavours, and sometimes it can make you emotional because it's just so yummy. If you don't really look after yourself and cook properly for yourself, and then you go out and have a meal and boom, there's some flavours in your mouth. And it's like Sananga gives you that kind of ocular variation of that experience. It was just so nice to look at beautiful things, natural things. And I've been stuck in all winter, kind of working through some difficult issues, and I've basically been a hermit. I've not been working, and I've been low, with lots of stuff surfacing and feeling that very fully. And it's been really hard work, and taking the Sananga has been part of me reaching out to change my mindset and change my outlook and my perspective on myself as well. And it's not happened kind of like that. It's far more like an organic unfolding of realization, and just this joy to observe and joy to have perspective. It's, you know, when I've been stuck in the house all winter, and then it really hit me after all this, like over 2 weeks of Sananga medicine healings, like going into the bright lights of the city and seeing all the interesting people, and very like empathically feeling the sense of everybody and what they're up to and what they're carrying. It actually felt like a wonderland walking through Nottingham to get to the life drawing course. And just being in that life drawing room, Studio 1, there was an easel waiting for me with the board on, all the materials were there, paper, masking tape and the pencils, and I just felt so at home. I felt like I was just doing something second nature, even though I've not done it for years. And I felt the kind of the pressure and the fear of wanting to create something that works. And I spoke to the tutor about that as well. And he said, you know, even after all these years, he still feels that and is not really sure. And I said, well, it's kind of like bringing a baby into the world, or a new life, or being given a puppy to look after. And you've got to bring this, when you create, you bring in this new life into the world, and you want it to thrive so it can go out there and live. So I exchanged a few meaningful nods, and I got stuck in with the drawing. I got hyped up. It's kind of talking to myself, hopefully not too loudly, a bit like, yes, 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 no, and and that's lovely, and oh, how am I going to do this in a minute? And I was making myself giggle a little bit with the thoughts crossing my mind as I was enjoying the adventure and the journey of drawing and doing something that made me feel so happy. And the artwork's corking, and last night I've been depressed for so long, that the happiness that I got, the buzz from drawing and it looking well and just enjoying the process, and the model was just so beautiful, and she'd come up with all these really cool poses one after another. When I got home, I just couldn't sleep. My brain was just like fizzing with accomplishment. And also, when you draw, you balance both hemispheres of the brain, because people dismiss artists because they say, oh, they're just right-brained creative people. But studies have actually shown that when you create art, you are using the right side of the brain, because you are thinking in inspiration, thinking about the big picture, and what you want to create, and the mood and the feeling and the power and the energy and the expression. But to make that happen, you have to use the left side of your brain to measure and quantify and work out and map and plot and strategize. You've got to come up with a strategy how you are practically going to make that image and create it. So all the time you're actually balancing the right and the left brain hemispheres. So if you're watching this, you're interested in Sananga plant medicine, I would actually recommend you turn to creativity as part of this healing path, and get those hemispheres working together. And it's not just your brain; it's your heart and your soul as well. So the bonus from going to life drawing last night, after being inspired by my experience of the Sananga plant medicine and its healing effects on everything practical and poetic about vision and sight and perspective and observing, I realised last night that there's nothing else in life that makes me so happy as to draw and create art. And that's a really big realisation for me. For many years, art has got the better of me in terms of how much I've got myself down about how I think I can't do it, and comparing myself to other people and how well they draw. But you know, life is for living, and if drawing is making me happy, then I am going to work with that. And if you've ever heard of Alex Gray, a visionary artist who was a contemporary of Andy Warhol and that art scene. And it's Alex Gray and his wife Alison Gray, and the visionary artists, incredible spiritual visionary artists, and they draw the energy body and the chakra systems and the meridians in connection to infinite nature of the universe. And you know, they've got a lot of important things to say about creativity, and the kind of the role of an artist is a very sacred role to play in the evolution of consciousness, and that we bring things into the world for other people to be influenced by and affected by, and inspired by, and to inspire their creative visions. I've tried creating artwork without inspiration, and actually it doesn't really come to anything, and you do need the inspiration to create art, whether it's your own divine inspiration coming through from the crown chakra and being conceived with the third eye and the mind, or whether you're inspired by other artists or something you've seen in the world. You know, you've got that foundation to create upon then and build. So the Sananga experience has given me a lot to reel about. And in terms of inner vision, I actually had another nightmare last night. And it's made me realise how I think I've intentionally shut my dreams down for years because I've had hideous nightmares from childhood. Up until I was about 30, I just thought I am just too old for nightmares. I'm going to get let's try one of those dream catchers. And I went to a shop and I was given some crystals to put under my pillow. I never used crystals before, and it helped me have more positive dreams, quite visionary dreams. There was this amazing, I was given a piece of Apache teardrop, and it is like a smoky glass colour, and that night I dreamt I was in a smoky glass cathedral where kind of everything was funny in a loving way, and there were kind of religious triptychs that had a drawstring so you couldn't make Jesus, this sounds probably really blasphemous, but it makes like Jesus and Mary talk and do fun things, and it was fun, and it was such a relief after many nightmares. feel like the Sananga is allowing me to be present with my nightmares. So this is, I've had an ex nightmare which I've been having for about 4 years before I left him, and there's always like a angry zombie that's foaming at the mouth and quite menacing and weird. And the last ex dream I had, it was a nightmare, but I could see it so clearly. Somehow it being more vivid made it less troubling somehow. So last night my nightmare was really strange, and I was in a hall with lots of people in chairs, and I was one of those people, and we had to be there. We were in fear for our lives. There was this strange character that was coming, and he had a really sort of gnashy mouth. He had a mouth kind of shaped like, I don't know, like a cake piping thing. You know, when people pipe cakes, and it was like very jagged mouth. And he was jumping from one person to the other, kind of sucking on their heads and their faces. And they had to sort of experience that fear and trauma and pain, and they weren't allowed to show their suffering or the fear. Otherwise, he would eat their heads, because he was just ever so slightly biting them on their heads. And he came over to me, and he did the same to me. And I did feel scared, and I did feel like I didn't want to die, and I didn't want to be hurt, and I did kind of shudder and shiver and try and shake him off. And he actually didn't eat me. I was quite brattish and just saying that I've never done this before. And it just didn't turn out to be the nightmare it was supposed to be. And I'm trusting that these Sananga dreams are a different kind of nightmare, where I'm actually working something through that I've experienced on some level. The funny thing is, I read a quote, a psychology quote, that says that when you dream about a person and you see their face, the brain apparently can't make up faces. So your dream only uses faces that you've only ever seen in real life. So what? It's quite troubling. But it looks like things are going to be alright anyway. Also on this Sananga journey, I'm actually taking St. John's Wort. I've taken that at the same time. So my improvement in mood, and I've also noticed my ability to speak and communicate more quickly. I've been able to grasp and remember words a lot more swiftly, but I'm just punching more words into a short space of time, where I feel like I've been like broken and kind of brain melted by the trauma and mental emotional clearing that's come through, and the stress Um, so I can't say for sure if the Sananga is actually improving my mood or my mental function as such. I can't say specifically what the Sananga is. I can completely attribute it to the experience of everything to do around vision, including the inner vision, which is really deep. And I'm nowhere near finished on this journey. I'm only like 2 weeks in, and I feel like a different person already. I feel more alive, and I feel more hopeful and more positive. And I think this, whether that is the Sananga and or the St. John's wort, I think plant medicine is for me. I have been offered medication in the past, been diagnosed with quite a severe form of PMT, which is a premenstrual dysmorphic disorder. But the side effects of the medication were exactly the same as my symptoms, and the doctor recommended that I take it 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. So I'd always be stuck. It just sounded like I'd always be perpetually stuck in all the worst aspects of thought that I don't want. Whereas I'm a natural thing that's grown of the earth, and so is the plant medicine. You know, and I think a lot of these medications, although I think vital for a number of people, and I don't diss people for having mental health medication. I've worked in mental health. Some people need that medication because there is no other intervention or support that anybody is willing to condone. Although there are conferences that are investigating mental health conferences that are investigating issues around rewilding and shamanic healing, actually. And mindfulness has been a big thing in mental health too. But I do feel like antidepressants, they a bit like painkillers, because I was on tramadols for a long time. I think when I suffered really badly with my endometriosis, they kind of separate you from the thing that needs to heal. So it can feel better because you're getting time out through that separation, but it doesn't make those things go away. And I think, you know, the thing that doesn't go away needs to be acknowledged and recognised and observed and transformed, and people should get more support with how to go about doing that. I'm just trying to do what feels right, and I'm learning along the way. But I really do value all the experiences that I've had with Reiki and meditation, healing, acupuncture, reflexology, family constellation work, art psychotherapy, many different sound healing, gongs, chanting. They all fix something on some level. But I think it's about learning what it is and what level it is that needs that fixing and how best to access that to transform it. And I think depression and anxiety is maybe even more accessible, and mental health issues around that. I can't speak for everybody there. But there's lots to go on here. I hope I'm giving you inspiration to try that Sananga. I'll have to see how I go on. I feel like I've changed really dramatically. So I think thank you if you've been following my Sananga journey. Thank you very much. I hope I've got more to offer and some more pandement vitamins for you on your healing path, and I wish you well on where you are in your healing path too. Lots of love.